All right, what we're going to discuss today is mainly what you folks are interested in is what's called the non-service connected pension. That is for the veteran. The veteran is living. They would apply for it's what's called the live pension or the non-service connected pension. Once a veteran deceases, and he or she deceases, the spouse may be able to apply for a very similar benefit for her, and that's called the death pension. So I'm going to touch on both of them today. The non-service connected pension is for the vet. The death pension is for the spouse. The problem with the death pension is the veteran has to decease for you to be entitled to the death pension. What is the VA pension? The pension is a benefit that is paid to a wartime veteran with limited income who is permanently and totally disabled or 65 years and older. And I see some of you taking notes, and that's great, but I remind you, I also have these flyers here. I can send them to Clark on the internet. He'll get them on an email, and he can print more and keep them in his shop. Now, who's eligible for the pension benefit? Now, this is the veteran. We're talking about the veteran. He or she must have been discharged with an other than dishonorable. So if you got an honorable discharge, a general under honorable condition discharge, that's the first hurdle. The second hurdle is he or she has to have served at least the 90 days of service, with one of those days has to be during a period of war. And there is an income, there is a means test. So what you're looking at is the countable income has to be below a yearly limit that is set by Congress. And just recently they did up the limit this last year in, I think it was October, November of 2011. They have to be permanently and totally disabled or 65 and older. And I'll go into more detail on how to qualify. Now, this right here is probably one of the more important slides. These are the income limits to qualify for the program. And I will spend a little bit more time on this slide and then the one similar to this for the spouse as we move forward. So I'm going to spend quite a bit of time on this slide because this one is critical. And some of you may find your family situation on this slide somewhere. But don't let these numbers scare you because it's not as bad as they look, because you got to be pretty low income on some of these. If you look at a veteran by him or herself with no dependents, so let's say he's a widower or he's divorced, or she's a widower, she's a divorced veteran, the allowable income limit yearly for that individual, they have to be under $12,256. It's not a lot. For many people, your Social Security alone might be more. For others, it's not. There actually are people, they come into my office and they earn less than this a year. But the most earn a little bit can you see? Most earn a little bit more or substantially more in Social Security, and maybe they have a small pension. So let's stick with the first veteran. This veteran here, let's say they're making more than $12,256 a year. They're making $18,000 a year with their Social Security, or $20,000 a year. With this, just on the face of it, would this veteran qualify? Yes or no? They would not qualify. So some people think, oh, all hope is lost. I'm not going to go see Rick and Eddie. Forget that program. The VA is not going to do anything for me. I hear it all the time, believe me. Are you able to hear me? I'll speak up a little bit more. Don't lose hope. Like everything else in government, there's a catch. Those are the minimum limits, but there's other things that the VA looks at that can still get you underneath these income limits. And I'll go into more detail as these slides go forward. The majority of the veterans that come into our office, they are still married. And so what you would look at down here is a veteran who needs aid and attendance and has one dependent. The VA allows you to earn more income. What they're doing though is they're taking both of your income combined. So guess what? You both together with Social Security and a small pension may still be over that income threshold. You get Social Security, she gets Social Security, and she gets a small pension and he gets a small pension. Well, guess what? I may not qualify. Forget it. I'm not going to go see those guys. If you do that, you made a mistake. You need to call us and still come in and see us, or we can do some pre-screening over the phone because you may still qualify, and I'll show you how to do that. What does it mean, a housebound veteran with no dependents or with one dependent? And what is the difference between aid and attendance and the guy or the gal that has no dependents up at the very top? When you think of the VA pension, the very top one is the base pension. That's where all the figures start off of, the very base pension. The housebound veteran is one that perhaps is at home and needs a caretaker to come and check on him or her a couple of times a week. It's difficult for them to get out of the house. The one that needs aid and attendance means that perhaps they're in assisted living or they need help with many of their activities of daily living. Was I able to answer your question?